Alright. Well, I guess it's time to start branching away from Mario then. Back in the day, I went to Blockbuster semi-regularly, and I rented a game here and there. There were several games that I did happen to rent that I would eventually go on to purchase. I rented a handful of N64 games, and up to this point, a few GameCube games here and there. But in my efforts to take a look back at some game series that I may have missed in the past, I remembered one that I saw from a friend, and decided to take a look at the newest entry in this particular series. Little did I know that, it had a slightly different perspective than its predecessors. Released November 17th, 2002. Metroid Prime is an interesting example of a game I wasn't really sure why I enjoyed. Mario obsession or not, there was one genre of games that I was always on record saying I didn't care too much for, and that would be the first-person shooter genre. Even to this day, it's still not really my favorite. I just always seem to have a hard time aiming, or otherwise just figuring out where I am in 3D space, due to the perspective shift. Which is why, honestly, it took me by a complete surprise that this game takes a first-person perspective for its Metroid gameplay. But man, this game is a treat. I'm not real well versed on what first-person shooters were doing around the time, but the ability to lock on to things and free aim shoot while standing in place just kind of makes it a little bit easier to manage, at least for me. I'm not real sure if these are new ideas, even at the time, but it was certainly something I appreciated, even now. A number of first-person shooters have a high focus on combat situations and moving through various set pieces on your way to a goal. Metroid Prime takes a focus more on exploring rather than combat, and I think in some ways that makes it a little bit easier for me to grasp. It allows for a more take-it-at-your-own-pace kind of gameplay that allows you to ease into it a whole lot easier. Sure, Metroid Prime has its fair share of combat situations with, bosses and whatnot, but it gives you a fair amount of time to kind of ease your way into the controls before throwing you into such situations. Now, truth be told, I'm not really sure when it was I went back to play Super Metroid, but I'm fairly certain this was my first step into the Metroid series, and it's kind of an odd place to just jump in, I will fully admit. But it's entirely possible that if I had instead jumped in at Super Metroid, or even some later 2D Metroid, that I might have not even wanted to try the Metroid Prime series, just because of my disdain for the first-person genre style of gameplay. Who can say, really? But at the end of the day, Metroid Prime was my first Metroid game, and it's certainly one I won't soon forget. So let's play it again from the top.